Hey, what's up? I'm gonna do something and talk and see if that's like a nice video format that could explore in the future. But right now, I'm applying for a job position. Um, in terms of just stuff in my head right now, I think one of the biggest things is Star Labs, the research venture. I've talked about it a million times now. It seems very clear where it has to go, what it has to do, and the capabilities, the possibilities of Star Labs. I really do think it's promising, but I think the weakest part of Star Labs right now is myself. I think that's a really bad thing because Star Labs, it's not at its core, it's not myself, but the one who has to lead Star Labs to certain points and certain checkpoints is myself. I think I really have to. I'm just gonna pause this. I think I really have to enter a system. Just that daily I'm making progress to being that person who can lead Star Labs, who can lead a team of great researchers to really acquire this role model. I know I've said this a million times, but role model is a very overloaded term. But I'm going to stop saying that because I feel like it's implied now when I say role model. But I think it's a really cool term as well because I think it really paints the picture. Nonetheless, as I am right now, I cannot be the same person in August who wants to leave Star Labs because I want to get more people working in Star Labs to be researching many more directions. Yet, how much do I know myself, right? How am I able to um, mentor or help people, right? Like, am I distracted? I think very often right now. For the past week, I know something that feels really weird is that weeks feel like months. Like these past 2 weeks feel like it's been a whole month, right? I think it's really worrisome because when I view stuff in that way, any mistake feels like it's much bigger and much more frequent than it is. But I don't know. I don't know. I think I really just have to walk there, and I think the biggest thing, not just instead of just saying, "Oh, I have to get into systems," is really just getting block of times for me to do something. I think that's when I see the most success is when I enter this flow state, and when I enter this flow state, it's a complete field of vision. Like, yeah, I see different things, I see different ideas, I see different ways of choosing my next choice, right? And I think work is like a really good example. Like with work, this I have like with my work there right now, 'cause I'm still in the onboarding phase, kind of. Um, I've noticed two different approaches. One is where I have just onboarding meetings. I don't really have anything planned post onboarding meeting, and that goes fairly okay. It's not like anything bad happens, but it's more so like after the my last meeting, I get kind of lost. I have no plan post meeting, but versus my other approach where it's like okay, these meetings are just like little blocks my day. I have like a full work plan. Then that's like it's a complete different thing. That's way more fun. It's way more focused. And I'm able to even like there's ideas that I didn't plan to have that day, right? There's ideas I didn't even think I was like, oh dang, let me do this, let me do this. And it's like it's a crazy thing. I think a really good way, a really good pop culture reference for this is in F1. There's a scene where Brad Pitt is like in the final scene where he's just like driving and like he loses sound and everything is like it becomes so clear, right? I think that's how I see it when I'm able to just have those block, blocked out sessions in my day. I think that's what I have to do in terms of the system thinker. I've noticed that I get easily distracted by other stuff. Um, and I think what the main thing I really want this system right now for is machine learning. And it's a tricky thing because right now with Star Labs, I'm trying to say how I want to contribute to the frontier. And I want Star Labs to want to acquire the world model. I know over the term, but I also want to get my fundamentals in place. I think it's crazy the lack of my fundamentals. And fundamentals really are what scale or what allow you to scale. I don't think I don't envision a future. It's not easy to envision a future where I'm leading Star Labs to do all this great research, but my foundations are just not there, right? So I think I really I'm it's like it's like a rock in a hard place where it's like, okay, how much time do I spend towards learning this versus actually work on this? And sometimes they easily like coincide where it's like, okay, I'm working on this, and through working this, I have to go into the foundations. Like I saw a lot of that in this past paper I did with Gaussian Fuss, but there's also just a lot of other foundations that I'm just missing. And it's like, okay, maybe it's not a problem now, but if I'm collaborating with someone and that's an expected foundation just for the nature of our work, what happens there? I don't want to just say I rely on AI because AI is really great. It really does scale the person. But then what happens is that it scales the person. So if the person has really bad foundations, eventually those cracks are going to show in your workflow with AI. So that's something I have to figure out. Maybe I could do like a 1 hour just learning sessions, and then maybe I could try and figure out a way for me to turn those 1 hour learning sessions into teaching sessions. Because what I've seen in my learning journey is that when I really conquer a topic is when I have to teach. I know that's like very famous, like, but it's also just something that it I don't know if it's a matter of not being embarrassed. I don't know if it's a matter of wanting to give the most you can give, but it just gets me like into this level where I really I really do work to digest the full content. I start to ask questions that I may be asked. Um, so maybe that's gonna be the goal, where it's like, okay, 3 hours of working on Star Labs or four or more, but I have at least like one dedication session where I'm learning this topic, right? This low level thing. Um, and then have another one where like I have to turn that into like maybe a blog, maybe a video, maybe this this project is gonna become where it's like, oh, I just explain the topics I'm learning that day. I think it's possible. I think there's a lot of systems, or there's systems I have now that if I said I'm going to do this for 1,000 days, I wouldn't really believe myself. But then I've done it, and it's like, okay, it's like it just becomes a natural thing. Like case in point, Project Phillips. Thank God it's still going. Like I really love this. But also like my Bible study thing, it's been on and off sometimes. So it's like, oh, I don't do it like every day. But right now, I'm like on day 140, which is really awesome. So thank God I'm about that as well. But if you said, oh, like 140 days ago, like am I gonna be able to do this? I wouldn't know, right? But like I'm able to do it, it becomes natural. So I think that's the key thing here. Even though it seems like a big commitment, if I keep the hours flexible and just keep it as like get this done as a deliverable, I think I should be able to do it. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.